Hello, future travelers and visa applicants. Welcome back to Legalopolis. Today, we've got an essential guide lined up for you, a step by step tutorial on how to successfully fill out Form DS-160, a very crucial document in any non immigrant visa application process. Whether you are planning a dream vacation, pursuing higher education, or gearing up for a business trip, navigating the intricacies of Form DS-160 can be a daunting task. But fear not, we are here to demystify the process and equip you with the knowledge to breeze through this critical step with confidence. In this video, we'll break down each section, providing valuable insights, tips, and tricks to ensure that your application stands out for all the right reasons. Let's turn those travel dreams into reality. Stay tuned and let's get started. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such videos. Happy travels! Now, friends, Form DS-160 is an online non-immigrant visa application, which is a digital form used by individuals to apply for a non-immigrant visa to the United States. This form is a fundamental part of US visa application process and is required for various visa categories, including tourist visas, business visas, student visas, temporary work visas, and more. We will be covering different sections of the application in detail for all the non-immigrant visa categories. The first step is sign in. So visit this website, the link is in the description box, and this is how it's going to look. Now, firstly, choose the location of the embassy or the consulate of your country where you will apply for the visa. So I chose Chennai, India. Then enter the code in the box. Now at this time, two actions are possible. Either we can start a new application or we can retrieve an already filled application. Now since we are starting the application afresh, we will proceed with the presumption that we are filing a new application and click on Start an Application. Thereafter, you will come to a page titled Computer Fraud and Abuse Act Notice. Please press I agree and proceed. Now, the system is going to generate an application ID for you, and underneath that ID, it will show the date when it was created. Now, either take a screenshot of this ID or write it down and keep it safely so that you can retrieve this application ID at a later time. Now, the second step is answering a security question. You can choose any one of the security questions and make a note of this question along with the exact answer that you've given in response. Because anytime if you have to retrieve your application, you will need your date of birth, your name, your application ID, and you will have to answer this security question correctly in order to access your application. Following this, you will access the primary form where you need to complete your applications. Now, before we commence filling the application, it's crucial to keep in mind that all the questions in this form fall in one of the three categories. Number one, mandatory. That is, these questions have to be answered. Number two, not applicable. And number three, optional. Now, if you don't answer the mandatory questions, then the system will flag them as errors, as you can see here, and will prevent you from proceeding with your application. However, for those questions which are categorized as not applicable or optional, you may leave them unanswered if they don't apply to your given situation. So the first section is the section related to personal information. Now, this section is pretty straightforward, but just make sure that the information is exactly the way it is mentioned in your passport. Okay? The spelling of your name and all your personal details should be exactly a replica of what's written in your passport. Then comes personal information 2. Now, this section will ask you to enter information about your nationality, your residence status if you live outside of the country of your nationality, etc. Then comes travel information. Now, this section will first ask you for the kind of visa or the visa type that you're applying for. Then the system will ask if you've made any specific travel plans. Now, if you say that yes, you have made specific travel plans to the US, then it will ask you to enter the specific date on which you will arrive in the US and the specific date on which you will leave the US or depart US. Now, if you don't have specific plans, then don't worry. You simply have to mention your intended date of arrival and the intended length of stay. Now, basically what it means is, say you want to visit the United States in summer, all right? So you can say maybe your intended date of arrival would be 1st of August and for return would be say 31st of August. Or if you're coming in December during the winter break, then you can say I would come on the 15th of December of this year and maybe leave by the 15th of January of the next year. It will also ask you if any organization is paying for your trip. If that's yes, it will also ask for their address. Now friends, here, if you are applying for category A visa, that is visa for diplomats or foreign government officials, then you will also be asked to fill up this form, which will ask you about your designation and in what capacity you are traveling to the States and all the related information. Now, if you are a principal or main applicant under these visa categories like H1B or L or U, then you will have to fill this additional form. Here you will have to fill the information regarding your dependents like your spouse and your children. Then comes the next section, that is travel companions. This section will ask you if you're traveling with someone else or not. If yes, the system will ask you to fill in their details, that is details of the people who might be traveling with you. Then comes the next section, which will ask you about your previous travel to the United States. Now, if you have previously traveled to the United States, you will have to fill out the dates of your travel, how long you stayed in the States, your visa number. Every time you will answer a yes to one of these questions, a small box will pop up and will ask for an explanation. And here are my 2 cents. Please make sure that you state every information that is true and factually correct. Then comes section 6, which is self-explanatory. It will ask for your home address, your contact number, your email, and also they want to know about your social media presence. So if you're on Facebook, you are on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, please make sure that you select these platforms from the drop box and share your information and the user ID on the form. Then comes the next section, which basically asks about your passport details, which is pretty straightforward. But at the end, it also asks you if you've ever lost a passport. And if yes, you have lost a passport in the past, please make sure that you put the correct details of that lost passport in this section as well. Then comes section 8. Now in section 8, you have to fill in information about your main point of contact in USA. Now it could be your siblings, your kid, or a member of an organization, or maybe a friend. You have to mention the relationship of that person to you and also their address in the US, their email address, and their contact number. Then comes the next section. This section is pretty simple. It will ask information about your family, like your parents, your father, your mother, and also about your spouse or partner, as the case may be in your specific situation. Now, if you are a K1 applicant, that is, you are the fiancé of a US citizen, and just to let you know, K1 visa allows the foreign fiancé to travel to the United States for the purpose of getting married to a US citizen. After the marriage takes place, the foreign spouse can apply for adjustment of status to become a lawful permanent resident for the fiancé. And the last section under family will ask you to fill in details about your children if you have any. Then comes the next section. Now in this section, fill in the details of your employer if you are working and educational institution if you are studying. And if you were previously employed, details about the same will also have to be filled in the form. Now here, the form will also ask your educational background, the name of the institution where you've studied your high school, that is your grades 9 to 12, the college, university, wherever you have studied. Please mention those details correctly and please make sure that there are no spelling errors. Now in the last part of this section, you will be asked to fill information about any countries that you have previously visited or countries where you have lived for more than 6 months. They are also interested in knowing if you've ever served in the military. Then comes the next section, which deals with security and background questions. Now before we proceed with filling up this section, it's important to remember that these are security questions and please make every effort to answer them correctly and accurately. They are very straightforward yes and no questions, but in those cases where you've answered yes, please provide a detailed explanation of the reason as to why. So the first part of this section will ask about your medical background, like if you've had any disease or in case you vaccinated or not. The second part will ask about your past criminal records against diverse parameters. Then the next third, fourth and fifth parts are also pretty straightforward, as they ask you whether you were involved in specific form of criminal conducts like terrorism, espionage, or say avoidance of taxation, or say performing an illegal activity in the United States. Now if you are a student, that is you are F, M and J visa applicant, then you will have to fill out this additional section and provide contact information about 2 contacts from your country of residence who are not your family members or relatives but who can verify the information that you have provided in the application. That could be your friend or maybe the manager under whom you were working, or say the dean or HOD of the department where you studied. Alright, just make sure that you are not putting in information of any person who is your family member or a relative. Then comes SEVIS, SEVIS, which stands for Student and Exchange Visitor Information System. It is a system used by the US government to track and monitor non-immigrant students, that is F and M visa categories, and exchange visitors, that is J visa category, during their stay in the United States. You will be asked to fill out the SEVIS ID and also details of the educational institution you will attend here in the United States. Now, if you are applying for a temporary work visa like L visa or H1B, then you will have to fill out an additional section where you will have to spell out specific details about the organization where you will work if your visa is approved. So friends, basically, if you are a student, you will have to fill in the information about the institution where you will study if you get the visa in the US. And if you're applying for a temporary work visa, then you have to fill out details about the organization where you will work if your visa is approved. So congratulations friends, you have successfully completed the most detailed and the most lengthy part of DS-160. Now all you have to do is to smile, say cheese and prepare a photograph. It's time to upload a photo. Now your photo must not have eyeglasses even if you wear prescription glasses. I'm pasting a link of the acceptable photo requirements in the description box. Now once you've uploaded your photo and the system accepts the photo, you will receive a confirmation like this. Now comes the next step, reviewing your application. Now this is how the page will look. Now, this is an opportunity for you to go through your application and double check if all the information that you have provided is correct and appropriate in the form in which it is supposed to be. If you feel the information is not correct or you think there's a spelling error, you can always edit the information which is incorrect and then proceed further. Once you have reviewed your entire application and found every information correct to the best of your knowledge, you have to sign and submit your application. But before you can sign, you have to fill in the location where your application will be submitted. And once you have selected the location, you simply press the sign and submit button. Now your application is submitted. Once it is submitted, you will see the day, month, date, and time of your application submission. And the final DS-160 confirmation page will be displayed. This is a very important document. Please download and take a print of this confirmation page. Please take a print of the entire page. It's such that the barcode on the top right is clearly visible. And this document you will have to carry with you for your visa interview. So friends, this is the whole process of filling DS-160 form. I hope this video was useful and will help you fill up this form easily without any external help. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you soon with another video. Till then, goodbye, take care, and have a wonderful day.